Right, so in this tutorial what we're going to concentrate on is producing an interactive PDF form that when opened in the PDF the user can fill in details in text fields, click submit, and the information is transferred back to us via an email. Okay, so in this document, this document I've already put together, that is just a brochure really, already got some interactive elements in here, going through different pages for these nice Caribbean resorts. Okay, it's got a bit of a navigation and some buttons, but the page that we're concentrating on is the very last page here where this form is going to be located. So let's just press W to turn on my guides and show my columns. So we need to have some text fields and a button. So let's just choose my rectangle frame tool and make a frame, and I'm just going to colour this frame. So at this stage we're not doing anything out of the ordinary, we've just made a normal InDesign frame. I'm going to use this blue that I've been using throughout the document to keep it consistent. I will change the tint down a little bit there so it's a bit different, and I will use my Alt key just to drag this down and do my various text fields. So you can see the smart guides in InDesign are really useful for me here to make these nice and even, so I know that everything's nice and balanced with these little green guides that come up. Let's just nudge these up a little bit to get them nicely aligned. Okay, so there'll be my text fields. I also need a submit button, so let's do another one down here, and actually let's just duplicate this last bit of text because I'm going to have this as submit there. So let's just position this. Again, we're just designing the form at the minute, we're not putting any. Arrange that, and I will bring that to the front. Okay, so there's my submit button. So now I've got the look, I've got this how I want to be. This is where we start to add the interactive instructions to this particular form. So let's come across to my buttons and forms here. What I'm actually working in, which I always work in when I'm doing interactive PDF, is the interactive for PDF workspace here, which gives me all the panels that I need to create these various elements that I'm going to put in. So let's pull out my buttons and forms here. So first of all, I'm going to select all these text frames here, and I'm going to change the type up here to text field. This makes them an active text field that the user can type in. And the submit button, what I'm actually going to do is select those two, and I'm going to go to object and group. So this is grouped together, and this needs to be a button that I need to put an action on. Okay, so to turn this into a button, I come across to my buttons and forms, click on the little convert to button buttons down here, and let's have a look here. So what I want this to do is on the event, which is going to be click, and the action is going to be right down the bottom here, submit form there. So that's the action complete. Now, but what I do want to do actually on this particular button is have a little rollover state. So when I roll my mouse over, just something happens so we can tell that it's actually a clickable button. So to do that, I just need to go to my direct selection tool. Okay, let's just click on that frame in the background, and again I'm just going to change the colour, so let's bring the tint down even a little bit more on there. So I've got a normal state and a rollover state there for that particular button. Okay, so this is now on submit form. So this bit here is the important bit, the URL. So what I want to do when they submit this is come through to my email. So I need to type in mail to : and then put the email address in that I want it to go to. Let's send it back to me. So it's mark@creativestudiosderby.co.uk. Okay, so that's all put on. So let's just check. I've got all these as text fields, and I've got my submit button there, which is on click, submit the form, and send it to that particular email address. So all we need to do now is I'll just do a quick save actually of the document before I go any further, and then I'll go to File, down to Export, choose my interactive PDF setting down the bottom here. I'll just click on my desktop actually to save the test. Click on save, and I just want to generate this page in a minute, so I just want page 7 because I'm just testing the form really at this stage. And again, all these options here we can change the way that the PDF works and looks, but again I'm just testing the form really, so I'm not too concerned about these at the moment. So I'll just click OK, and when that's generated it should automatically open the PDF so we can give it a little test. So it's in full screen mode, so I'll just accept that, and here we go. So text field, here we can type in whatever we want here, obviously email addresses, phone numbers. I want to roll over my button, see the state changes, and I click on my button and it asks me here, so my default email application is Microsoft Outlook, so that's fine, so let's click continue. Okay, and then when I go into my email application, okay, you can see now I've got the emails sent, set it to that address, form returned as the subject, and it attaches that complete form there. Okay, so a very nice way to put in some nice bit of interactivity to get them to capture information really from people when they've completed and looked at your PDF form.